That's great. And also, as you were speaking, I just recollected one more thing. Like it was your LinkedIn post basically that you shared about an interview. So kindly, I connected with you through that only. So just share your experience on this platform. Like how was it?
Well, to be very honest, that was one of the genuine experience that I had with one of the candidates that I was interviewing in Paytm. And he had a pretty decent resume when I went through it, and he was still in third year, I believe. And so I was just trying to prepare something that I can ask him. I wanted to be well prepared because at that moment it is very important that we are well prepared because they are just maturing. And so I started off asking him certain questions, and gradually I started realizing that he does not really know a lot of stuff that he has actually written in his resume. So I started off with the projects that he had mentioned. What did he really do? And his responses were like, he's still yet to start those things. So when looking at a third year student, I thought, why not let's help him out, coming up with some solution to his own project. So I asked him, let's design that still anyways. So it's going to help you out in your project. So we started doing something. I realized he does not really have a lot of idea there as well. I kept on asking few things that he had mentioned in his resume. Ultimately, honestly, it got a bit frustrating for me because he was there and I'm asking anything, I'm not really getting any proper responses. At the end, I realized, okay, let's do something. Let me ask him if he has written even a single line of code. And that's when I asked him, just give me a code of A plus B. That's it. That is something that you may have done, right? So that just give me that so that you get some confidence. I'm definitely not going to hire you. I did not tell him because I'm definitely not going to hire you because I need some basic fundamentals to be, there with you. Some very, very basic things that you have studied, that you have done in your courses. But what I was looking for is what is it that you can do for you to get some confidence. So I literally asked him to give me a code of A plus B, not even the entire piece of code, just give me the logic. Eventually, he was, I think, able to write that piece of code, even that too with some help. And we had generally had the interviews for almost 45 to 50 minutes, and the last 10 minutes to 5 minutes I usually get for the candidate to ask me any questions if they want to know about the kind of work that we do. So I had kind of dragged it till that time, and after 50 minutes I was like, okay, I'm done. I do not have any more questions for you. Do you have anything for me? So that was the moment when all the frustration went away for me. And when he told me that sir, that you are the very first person who has ever interviewed me for the entire 1 hour, I'm like, what do you mean? So he's telling me, sir, whenever I've interviewed before, because I know that I do not know a lot of stuff now. I have now realized that what is it that I need to work on. But before that, even in the beginning, when I was not able to answer any question to any of the interviewers, they used to just stop the interview in 15 to 20 minutes max. And I never realized that how can I really prepare myself? How can I prepare myself better? So that's when he told me that you are the very first person who has done it. Now I know I'm a bit confident. Yeah, okay, what are the things that I really need to work on, and how can I really prepare? And he even asked me at the end of the day, at the end of the interview, how can I really prepare better? What are the things that I can do? I know, sir. He himself told me, that he does not know a lot of stuff, and so definitely he's not going to be in. But what is it that he can do to improve himself? So it was a feedback on that perspective, and definitely as an interviewer, we cannot give our decision right away there itself. But yes, then that's when I all the frustration went away. The one which was building up, because we feel like we ended up wasting our 1 hour. But then I realized that it was very, very important for him to be there with me for 1 hour, so that tomorrow, if he's going for any interviews, he's a bit more confident, and he does not end up going into that rabbit hole where he does not even know what is he doing. Right. So that was one of those moments, and I just thought that it's a good experience that I had. I personally felt that it was a good experience that I had as an interviewer. So I thought that why not I just go ahead and write it up, and so I just posted it. That was, I think, one of my very first posts that I wrote on LinkedIn. And I did it in the morning, and towards the evening, I'm seeing the notification badge on my phone is appearing to have more than 1,000 notifications, and I'm wondering what just happened. What is it? What's going wrong? And that's when I opened my app. There were a lot of connection requests. There were a lot of reactions on those. There were a lot of comments. There are all set of people who say that it's fake. There are all set of people who feel that it's important as an interviewer. So they have their own opinions, but what's important is that you share your thoughts with others as well. And I post that I got a very good opportunity to interact with a lot of different people. I reviewed a few resumes. There were people who were reaching out to me, trying to understand how they can really improve themselves. What is it that they're looking to do post their engineering? What are the kind of roles that they're looking for? How can I help them? So yeah, I got that was good. The only the very good outcome of that post was I was able to help others when even I myself felt that at that moment probably if I had that help I could have been even better. So I was able to help others to the extent that was possible for me, and that's how even we connected. And I'm getting you gave me a platform to connect with wider audience. So that's how it started building a few more connections, and it was an overall very overwhelming experience for me. And I mean, it was a great moment. Not because there were a lot of reactions on that post, maybe more than 40,000 or so, but what's more important was that I was able to convey that message to the community. And so few took it positively, few took it negatively, that's their own opinion. But then yes, the message was conveyed, and it sets some example, and that's something that I feel that I was able to do it.
Great. And I think I would say thank you for being the interviewer who gave that hope to that I think student, and maybe he was to fall out, but you gave him the direction. Thank you for it. And I hope that after watching this, many people who take interview, take the pain of suffering a few more minutes. Maybe it's crucial for the one who's being interviewed, right?
Exactly. I mean, it's really important as an interviewer that you at least go through the resume of the candidate. I feel that it's really important. Because if it's not just about maybe some countries, some companies are setting the trend. Just start and you throw up a problem solving question and just do it. But I personally do not feel that is the right way, because you have to set some platform for the candidate. You need to give some confidence to that candidate. Merely takes 5 minutes. Just takes 5 minutes. You help them gain some confidence, and if the person is confident enough, the candidate is confident enough, he may even end up solving certain questions with some logics that he does not even know of. Maybe some algorithm that he does not even know of. If the interviewer is helping them out, so he may, if he is confident enough, he will end up solving that question. If he is not confident enough, the very first moment itself when he sees the question, because it has happened with me as a candidate. When I'm giving an interview, if I'm not confident enough, immediately the moment I'm saying hi and the person is just throwing a question to me, just solve it. So it does not really help establish a connect with the panelists. What's important is that you get the undivided attention of the panel, the interviewer, and the interviewer also gets the undivided attention of the candidate. So there has to be a connect, and I think that's how you do it. You screen the resume, you know what kind of person you are dealing with, and that's how you proceed. I think it's really important as an interviewer.
Yeah, and also I've been told this also by many that the interviewer who's taking your interview is not there to reject you. Many seem that oh my god, they are the devil person who has come only in the interview just to reject you. That's not the case. They're obviously there to hire you. So yeah, they will. There are many obviously have been cases, but the maximum interviewers, especially nowadays, they help as you are. So they help a lot. So
exactly.
Thank you, and we hope that. Yeah, exactly. We hope that this generosity continues, and whoever watches this spreads to them too, right?
Yes, definitely. I think it's a good platform that I could convey it.
Yeah, and it helped.
Hope so.
Okay, so that was 𝗏𝗟𝗏, and after that you switched to one of the sister companies of Paytm, that's Paytm Money. And what was it like? What was the 6 months like? And what was like you would say, like if anyone wants to get over there to Paytm Money, what are the like prerequisites for it?
Rather in Credit Suisse, but then I still got an opportunity to interview with them, and that's when I was able to prove myself, and that's how I just got shortlisted there and started working on the good stuff that they were doing. Still, I would say, in my own personal opinion, I would say that it's a maturing startup which is coming up. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to design. There's a lot to code. There's a lot to contribute to the overall growth of the company. And those are in the initial few months itself. I would say I got all of those opportunities. For somebody to get into Paytm Money, I would say on LinkedIn I do have connections with a lot of recruiters within Paytm, and let it be specific to Paytm Money or the Paytm overall. They keep on posting the job opportunities that they have, the different profiles they are hiring for. They keep on posting those things, and I do react to those so that it reaches my community. And if somebody wants to apply, they give direct forms to connect to. So that is how you can connect with them. And I'll say those recruiters, in my opinion, they definitely look at the profiles that reach them. That is one of the good things that I've seen with Paytm. And they definitely look at those profiles. They do the screening, and they try to give everyone an equal opportunity to prove themselves and schedule their interviews. So post that, all you need to do is prepare yourself well, do problem solving, be able to pick up any language, any one language that you're comfortable in, programming language, do problem solving. If you are a bit more experienced, like 2 years plus experience, also focus on some of the aspects of designing systems. How do you design distributed systems, large scale systems? So these are few things which are definitely important, and they are going to help you in Paytm as well, or Paytm Money as well. So yeah, that's how you can at least get started with. It's really important. Yeah.
And like after your 6 months of span in Paytm Money, you shifted to Flipkart, right, as an SD3.
Yes.
So what was it like? What was the process like? And also, anyone who wants to get into Flipkart, not specifically SD3, generally Flipkart. So what are the prerequisites any interviewer would look into it?
Okay, I'll talk about the how do you really get into Flipkart. In my personal opinion, I feel for me, I got an opportunity. I was contacted by one of the recruiters that they have an opportunity with their data platform team, and they are hiring for SD3s and 4s, and they basically had a hiring drive, and so it was on one of the Fridays when I happened to have a leave. I happened to have an off, so it was then. So I thought, why not give it a try? And since I had already prepared for Paytm and for getting into Paytm Money, so I was still at that moment I was still coding. I was doing some decoding, so I had some hands there, and so I thought, let's give it a try. So how did it all started for me was the entire day long process, which began at 10 in the morning. And what's the general process that I've seen over here is this is something that you can also find on LeetCode and the other platforms as well. So what they generally have is they have one machine coding round initially, wherein you are expected to come up with a demoable solution to the problem that they give. It varies from the designation they are hiring for, the length, the kind of problems that you handle. It varies from the designation that you are being hired for. But that the very first round of machine coding is definitely going to be there. What they expect you to do is how do you design. So it's primarily low level designing, which is like how do you really design your classes, how do you really design your objects, and what is if how do you develop the relations between the different classes that you want. So it's kind of a complete solution that you need to give, and these are some basic features, basic functionalities that they want we want you to implement. And they give good amount of time, 2 to 3 hours, to come up with the entire solution. And post that you are then expected to present your solution and it should be, the very important thing is that it should be demoable, that you should be able to run and show your present your code. One thing that I've generally seen people doing wrong in a way is that they rely in such scenarios, and it's not just specific to Flipkart. I would say in any of the machine coding rounds, one of the key things that you should definitely do is write a driver class. And this is something which I want to take this as an opportunity to convey to whoever sees this and whoever is preparing for machine coding rounds. Right, always get into a habit of writing a driver class to test your code, because that is a huge full-fledged code. Write a driver class instead of relying on command line based test inputs that you give, because you are very prone to make any error over there, and then you have to redo everything. You are just wasting your own time as well as interview's time. So always get into the habit of writing a driver code, identify some test cases, write those down over there, and just run through your code. Okay, so these are the set of values that I'm passing as an input, and this is the expected output, which we all know in that moment, and that's what we are looking for. And then we try to understand how you've designed your classes, if it should be modular. So with modular, what I mean is that you should be able to, if I ask you to make certain minor tweaks, you should be able to do it quickly. It shouldn't be in a way that you rewrite the entire set of code, and it applies to SD1s as well, who are getting hired into this. So that is very, very important. So what I had after that was like an SD3. I had the problem solving round, wherein I was given a set of problems to solve. They are looking for pseudocode or whichever language you are comfortable in. Just write a piece of code, and it is generally happening on Google Doc, and it's not really the online compiler that you have. So nobody is helping you out with the syntaxes. So you need to be very strong with the syntax of the language that you're claiming that you know strongly. So it used to be said, get into a habit of writing code on a piece of paper, because that's where the compiler does not, or your IDE does not tell you, you are making some mistake in your syntax. You yourself identify. So syntaxes, if you're claiming that you know a particular language, you should be strong enough to at least write some basic syntax correct. So those are a few of the things that we look forward to in the problem solving round. Then in the senior levels, they also have the designing, wherein they give you some problems to some systems to design. You need to come up. It could be high level, low level, or both, the combination of both. So that is the next round that I had. Post which I also had a hiring manager round, so which is sometimes we have a notion of taking that as a non-technical round, but it's a mix of technical and non-technical, wherein they can ask you about the things that you have done, how you have done those things. They may end up asking you some questions to solve, but the chances of those are less. Rather, they're just trying to understand you, how comfortable you are in taking up new challenges, how comfortable you are in working with new languages, new technologies, and if you have really explored those things. So those are the kind of things that they are looking for in the hiring manager round. And post that, they make their own verdict, and then the HR reaches you out for the compensation discussions and all those things. One thing which is really important in any of the interviews is whatever you are mentioning in your resume, just go through it once. Know what are the things that you are mentioning. It shouldn't just be it shouldn't just be for the sake of writing it on a piece of paper. You should understand the things that you are mentioning. You shouldn't just end up making anything. So that is very important, and those are the few things that I as a candidate have experienced, that the interviewers asked me a lot of questions on the things that I've mentioned on my resume at times. So yeah, that is a very crucial thing. So that's how the kind of process that I've had with Flipkart, and that's the kind of thing that I've seen right now in Flipkart.
Great. I think that was very descriptive, and whoever wants, who was wanting a roadmap, or who was wanting any insights, it would help them a lot, I think. So thank you so much for that. Okay. So I think as Flipkart was end of the timeline, and also we are moving towards the end of this podcast also. So at the end, I would like to ask that any second year student or third year student, basically, generally I'm targeting the second year students. So what would what would be your roadmap, or what would be a timeline, you would say, like you must do this at least, so that you have your confidence when you sit in the interview, right? For example, it could be anything like amount of coding questions, if say any particular stack, particular any CS concepts, you say like OOPS or anything, system design as you mentioned. So what would be like the checkpoints? Like any second year, third year students can like take like, okay, I have this, now I'm confident to sit in the interview. So from the perspective of a student also, and from the perspective of an interviewer also. So what would be all that checkpoints?
See, honestly speaking, I feel I would rather answer this question in a way, imagining myself what I would have done better being a second year student. When I was in my second year, what are the things that I could have, done differently, so that I could have been a better person in my final year. One of the key things that I would tell, a few of the rather I would say two of the key things. One is definitely we get a lot of time in engineering, do problem solving. That is the very key thing. Problem solving it's not about mugging up the solutions of the questions which are there on the code. Many try to do that right now, but no, it's about understanding the algorithms. There are certain standard algorithms that how do they do it, how do they what are the time complexities, what are the space complexities. Understand how it is coming up, why something is O of n, why something is n log n. Understand those things. If you know those things, you can write your own algorithm. You understand those things, you can write your own algorithms, you can come up with your own time complexity, you can come up with your own improvised solutions. So that is a very key thing. And I would also recommend, it's up to an individual, but I would strongly recommend try to solve any question problem that you are trying to solve, try to solve it on a piece of paper first. Even I do it right now. Even after 6 years of experience, I try to do those things. You get a clear picture. Do not directly jump onto the code part. You get a clear picture. Try to solve it on a piece of paper. Identify what is the question that is asking. Come up with a solution. Come up with kind of a layout of your entire solution. Then put it to code. Okay. So that is one thing that I would say that every engineering student should do problem solving. Second key thing that I would tell is focus on building something. Right now, this is the trend that I'm seeing, and this is something which I feel I should have also done in my second year, which is very important. Build something. Let it be in which of the stream that you are in. You can still come up with some solution. I'm not asking you to develop a complete product. No. Identify something, anything that you can build up. Let it be a simple library management system. Everybody knows about it. Just go ahead, implement it. How would you do it? Just write identify different classes. We all know the basic OOPS concepts. Design your different classes. Design your database. Try to integrate those things. If you get time, try to come up with a UI as well. So basically, you get an idea of how those things relate, how those things really work, and how can you really design some good solutions. Designing, it's an art. It's not something that you can learn. It's an art. And if I would have started those things in my second year, we get a lot of those chances, and we tend to miss out those opportunities. There are many small tiny projects that we get in each of our courses. We just take it for the sake of completing and then submitting it. But rather, we should also focus on creating them in a good way, which wherein I am learning something. So that is something that I will say that definitely within your second year, maybe in your third year as well, come up with something, design something end to end, no matter if it's an existing thing itself, but design something, write the code, write the classes, try to translate it into a product and try it out. You never know, right? You can end up creating some product which is actually solving a good problem for the entire community, for the entire world. And if you really want to try it out, you get your, for 1 year, you get your account free on AWS as well. So there are good amount of, AWS services offerings that you get for free. You can go ahead and simply host a product. If it's an application, you can go ahead. If it's a web app, you can just host it on, AWS and get it working for at least 1 year without even paying a penny. It's that good enough. So you kind of understand the product developments, or you understand those products things, and those are the things that we miss out. We tend to miss out. We just focus on sometimes focus on academics, and just the CGPA is what we look out for, but that is not the end of the world, honestly. And so these are the two things that I personally feel that if I would have done as a second year student or third year student differently, yes, that would have helped me a lot a bit earlier. And that is something that I would recommend that everybody should do. They should definitely try to do it. If there's a project, develop it. And one another thing that I would say is, when it comes to your third year or maybe the final year, whenever we sit for any interviews, all right, we have a lot of pressure. In case of interviews, let's just let's not be very result oriented, because that's when we tend to goof up. I personally goof up, and that was also something which I was doing earlier. And that's when my dad told me, just give the interviews. You are prepared, just go ahead and give the interviews, no matter what the outcomes are. It's fine if you get rejected. There are a lot many more companies will be hiring. So don't focus on getting into that company. Don't focus on, yes, we do have some dream companies we want to work with, but as and when you gain some confidence, you will end up working over there. I, being in 2016 in my college, a computer science student, honestly speaking, I would have never imagined being a part of Flipkart at that moment. Flipkart is a huge organization. It's a huge product company, and especially students, they look up being a part of Flipkart, learning a lot of different things. I never imagined. I never have thought of doing that, but eventually I ended up over there. So just be confident. No matter what the outcomes are, you'll end up learning something. Well, you'll definitely learn something. Do not be focused or result oriented. Be focused. Keep practicing. You'll end up there wherever you want to go. Just keep practicing. Practice is the key to everything. Let it be design, let it be coding, or let it be even presenting yourself. Just keep practicing. That is the key three, I would say, the mantras that I believe we should have, and that is something engineer trying to pursue a proper software engineering role should focus on.
I think that the three mantras that you give, it will really help the ones who are hearing this. And thank you so much. Like, the points that we covered today, I think I personally learned a lot from this, and I'm sure that the ones hearing this, seeing this, will enjoy this podcast tremendously. So thank you again.
I hope so. I hope that I was able to help the community in some way.
Yeah, I'm definitely sure you did. And thank you so much for being a part of Inside Buddha. And if anything you want to say at the end, it's all yours.
Just that, all the very best. To everybody who's looking up to trying out different roles, just go ahead. It's your day. Just give it a try. At the max, you'll fail. That is not the end of the world. Just don't be scared of failures. That is something that I personally follow in my life. Not just problem solving, not just coding, not just interviewing, but don't be scared of failures. That is the key thing. The day you overcome the fear of failure, you'll rule the world. That's what I feel. And thank you, Pratim, for having me here. It was really nice talking to you. And yeah, all the very best.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.